140 million years ago, when the first dinosaurs were still learning to walk, a forest began to grow on an island in the heart of Southeast Asia. It did not stop. Through ice ages and mass extinctions, through the rise and fall of civilizations, through every catastrophe this planet has survived, that forest kept growing, layer by layer, century by century, building something so complex, so deeply interconnected, that science still does not fully understand it. Today, what remains of that forest covers an island the size of Texas, and inside it life exists in forms that seem to belong to a different world entirely. In the rivers, something swims between islands that no primate should be able to cross. In the canopy, a pair of eyes watches from 70 feet above the ground with an intelligence that feels uncomfortably familiar. In the undergrowth, a pattern on the forest floor that looks like dead leaves until it moves. This is Borneo, the oldest rainforest on Earth, and it holds secrets that took 140 million years to create. But something is moving through this forest that its oldest residents have never encountered before. A shadow that doesn't follow the rules of the ecosystem. A force that arrived recently by geological standards and has already changed everything. We will find it at the heart of this journey. First, we must understand what is at stake. The island of Borneo is the third largest in the world, divided between Malaysia, Brunei, and Indonesia. It sits at the center of the Coral Triangle, surrounded by some of the most biodiverse waters on Earth. But it is what lives on land that has made Borneo one of the most extraordinary places on this planet. 15,000 species of plants, 222 species of mammals, 420 species of resident birds, 650 species of freshwater fish. The numbers are almost impossible to hold in the mind, and the structure of the forest itself is unlike anything else on Earth. It exists in layers. At the very top, the emergent trees push above the canopy into direct sunlight, some reaching 60 meters, taller than a 20-story building. Below them, the canopy itself forms a continuous ceiling of green that intercepts nearly all sunlight before it can reach the ground. In the twilight below, the understory, a world of filtered light and shadow where different rules apply. And at the bottom, the forest floor, where almost no light penetrates, where decomposition and growth happen simultaneously, where the oldest cycles on Earth continue without interruption. Each layer has its own residents, its own predators, its own logic, and in each layer a species that exists nowhere else on Earth. High in the canopy, in that band of light between the treetops and the sky, a large dark shape moves between branches with a slowness that looks like patience but is actually precision. A hand closes around a branch, long fingers broader than they look from a distance, with a grip that can support 90 kilograms of body weight on a branch no wider than a human wrist. The hand belongs to an orangutan. The word comes from Malay. Orang means person. Utan means forest. Person of the forest. It is not a poetic name. It is an accurate one. The Bornean orangutan shares 97% of its DNA with humans. It uses tools, branches to extract honey from hives, leaves folded into cups to drink rainwater, sticks sharpened to probe tree cavities for insects. It builds sleeping platforms every night, carefully selecting branches for structural integrity, adding a roof of layered leaves when rain is expected. It teaches. This is what separates the orangutan from almost every other animal on Earth outside of humans. The techniques it uses, the specific tools, the particular routes through the forest, the knowledge of which trees fruit in which season, are not instinct. They are culture, learned from mother to offspring over years of observation and practice, passed between generations like a body of knowledge accumulated over millennia. A female orangutan will spend 7 to 8 years raising a single offspring, the longest dependency period of any animal except humans, because there is that much to learn. Watch a mother moving through the canopy with her infant clinging to her chest. She pauses at a branch junction, testing each option with one hand before committing her weight. The infant watches everything. Its eyes follow her hands, her choices, the micro-decisions that happen dozens of times per minute as she navigates a three-dimensional world 70 feet above the ground. It is not just traveling, it is being educated. She stops at a tree she has visited before, one she knows by memory, in a forest she has mapped over 30 years of living in it. Her range covers several square kilometers of canopy, and she holds that entire map in her head, which trees fruit in which months, which routes connect them, which areas belong to dominant males she needs to avoid. She extracts a handful of fruit, examines it briefly, passes a piece to the infant. The infant takes it, looks at her, then puts it in its mouth. A lesson without words. But the orangutan does not own this canopy alone. Down at the river's edge, where the forest meets the water, another primate has built a life that seems designed specifically to confuse anyone who thinks they understand what an animal can look like. You hear it before you see it. A sound somewhere between a honk and a groan, resonant and strange, echoing across the water in a way that carries far too much authority for something you haven't seen yet. Then you see it. The proboscis monkey has a nose that extends below its chin. In adult males, it can reach 10 centimeters in length, dropping past the mouth in a way that requires the animal to push it aside before it can eat. The stomach is permanently distended, giving it a silhouette that looks less like a primate and more like a caricature of one. But the nose is not an accident, and the stomach is not a malfunction. The nose is an amplifier. The longer and larger it is, the louder and more resonant the calls the male can produce. Females actively select males with larger noses because a louder call signals a stronger animal with better territory. What looks absurd to us is a highly refined communication system that has been working perfectly for millions of years. The stomach is a fermentation chamber. The proboscis monkey is the only primate in the world with a two-chambered digestive system similar to a cow's. This allows it to break down leaves that are toxic to every other primate in Borneo, giving it access to a food source that no competitor can use, found nowhere else on Earth, adapted to Borneo in ways that Borneo specifically made possible. Now the light in Borneo changes. This is the moment where the canopy closes above you and the forest floor becomes something different. The temperature drops, the sounds shift. The bright calls of the canopy birds give way to something slower, lower, more deliberate. You are no longer in the upper world. Down here the rules are different. The pattern on the ground that you almost stepped over is not dead leaves. It has not moved in 6 hours. It is waiting. The reticulated python is the longest snake on Earth. Individuals have been measured at more than 7 meters, with confirmed weights exceeding 150 kilograms. It is not venomous. It does not need to be. A constrictor of this size does not chase prey. It does not pursue. It selects a position, calculates the traffic patterns of the forest floor based on scent and heat signatures detected through the pit organs along its jaw, and it waits. When an animal comes close enough, the strike happens in a fraction of a second. The coils follow immediately, wrapping before the prey has processed what is happening. The pressure applied by a large reticulated python is sufficient to stop circulation in a large mammal in under a minute. It has been in this position since yesterday afternoon. It will stay here until something worth eating passes close enough, and it has all the time in the world. But if the python is the invisible danger of the forest floor, the sun bear is the unpredictable one. The smallest bear in the world weighs between 25 and 65 kilograms. A large domestic dog is heavier. And yet across Asia, the sun bear is responsible for more attacks on humans than any other bear species, including the grizzly and the polar bear. Size, it turns out, is not the relevant variable. The sun bear has claws designed to tear open hardwood trees. Proportionally, they are among the longest claws of any bear species, curved for gripping bark and ripping through wood that a human could not break with an axe. Its bite force, relative to its body size, exceeds that of any other bear. And its temperament combines the unpredictability of an animal that has few natural predators with the agility of something built for climbing trees. It moves through the understory in the way that only animals that know they are not prey can move. Directly, without checking, without the constant alertness of a hunted species. It goes where it wants. Other animals get out of the way. Its tongue can extend 25 centimeters from its mouth, the longest proportionally of any bear species. Watch it work on a fallen log. The claws open the wood with 3 or 4 deliberate strokes, the kind of force that makes the work look easy. Then the tongue, long and precise, reaches into cavities that the bear cannot see, extracting larvae and honey with an efficiency that suggests a detailed mental map of what is inside. The sun bear is also one of the engineers of this forest. Every log it tears open, every patch of ground it excavates, creates new habitat for dozens of species that could not create it themselves. The cavities it opens in living trees become nest sites for hornbills. The soil it disturbs accelerates decomposition cycles that feed the entire forest floor. A forest without sun bears would be a quieter place, a less varied one. A forest that was slowly losing its capacity to renew itself. And now we arrive at the shadow we mentioned at the beginning of this journey, the force that has no natural place in this ecosystem, that arrived recently, by the standards of a forest that is 140 million years old, that has already consumed more of Borneo than anything in the island's entire history. Check the label on the biscuits in your kitchen, the shampoo in your bathroom, the margarine in your refrigerator, the biodiesel in a fuel pump in Europe, the lipstick, the instant noodles, the chocolate coating on a bar of candy. 50% of all packaged products sold in supermarkets worldwide contain palm oil, and the most efficient place on Earth to grow oil palm is the island of Borneo. In the last 50 years, more than 50% of Borneo's ancient forest has been cleared. Not damaged, cleared, replaced by oil palm plantations that stretch to the horizon, a monoculture of identical trees in perfect rows where a forest of 15,000 plant species once stood. The orangutan has lost 80% of its population in 75 years. It is now classified as critically endangered. If current trends continue, it could be extinct in the wild within the lifetime of children alive today. The proboscis monkey populations are collapsing as the riverine forests they depend on are cleared for agriculture. The sun bear's territory is fragmenting into patches too small to sustain viable populations. The reticulated python loses habitat every year to development that advances without pause. This is not a crisis approaching on the horizon. It is happening now. While this video plays, while the forest that took 140 million years to build is cleared in sections measured in football fields per hour. The connection is direct, and it runs through your daily life. The products that contain palm oil are on your shelves because the economics of palm oil production made them cheaper to produce. The forest was cleared because the land was worth more as a plantation than as an ecosystem. The orangutan is disappearing because the calculation was made somewhere that the numbers worked out this way. Understanding this is not about guilt. It is about the chain of consequences that runs from a forest in Borneo to a supermarket shelf anywhere on Earth and back again. High in the canopy, in the light that filters through the oldest forest on Earth, the orangutan is still moving. She has covered 3 kilometers today in search of the fruit that her 30-year memory told her would be ready in this part of her range. The infant has watched every step, has learned the roots, the trees, the decisions. She stops on a branch and looks out across the canopy. In every direction, the forest stretches to the horizon, green, continuous, ancient. From up here, you cannot see the edges where the trees end and the plantations begin. You cannot see how much has already gone. She looks at the camera with eyes that hold something we recognize and cannot quite name. 140 million years of evolution, looking back at us. The only question that matters now is a simple one. How much of this forest will still be standing when her grandchildren need to teach their own?